Session review.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the lore report here. It has been a little bit. I missed the last session's lore reports. We're going to do a twofer here for those of you that were thirsty for lore. There's going to be a whole lot coming on in this one. I kind of changed it up a little bit. Instead of putting things on the slides, I'm just going to say it, so you're going to have to listen to me blabber. So hopefully you don't mind that. Either way, let's just get right into it. So the first thing that happened in these two sessions was that the team decided that to learn about Nen defense, they wanted to go to the land of Toby. They wanted to go see Toby, the god of our good friend Bunny, who is a dog god and has many good thoughts and knowledges about the world of Nen defense. So they made their way over there, took on a journey, and eventually went and learned about Nen defense as well as a lot of other things about the world as they asked Toby questions about what was going on around them. So first, let's get to Nen deflection. This is the first idea they have of Nen defense, which is where if you can perceive another person's Nen, you can expend a Nen charge as a reaction to block that Nen if it's coming towards you for an attack. So you roll a d20 and you add +2, and this gives you a chance to block this attack. If you do not use a Nen charge to attempt to block a Nen attack, it will hit you 100% of the time. So that may seem a little bit as if you have to use it, but it is an idea. You can taper how you'd like to do it or try to find a different way to avoid the attack, but Nen attacks are extremely powerful, only be able to be done by many powerful Nen users, so keep in mind this is how they work and interact with them. Moving forward, we have PepsiCo strikes. In the middle of a lot of talks, there was talks on heaven, hell, and the upside down world we're going to get into. But one thing that I would really like to note is that in those chats, at one point, PepsiCo took the opportunity to gain control of Cruel Wrench due to the pact that Cruel Wrench signed after they almost died, and then allowed them to throw a Eldritch Blast directly at Toby. Toby then used Nen defense to block this attack. It is not required for it to be used against the Nen charge. It can be used against any attack. It just might not be worthwhile for some people to use it otherwise. But it was then told to Cruel Wrench that Cruel Wrench must, in fact, defeat Dravena. If Dravena is not defeated due to the way this contract works, Vicus, Dravena's demon, would most certainly be able to take over PepsiCo and then in return take control of Cruel Wrench. PepsiCo is a very reasonable person and only takes control of Cruel Wrench when they see it might be beneficial, but Vicus, using the contract that Cruel Wrench signed, would take control of Cruel Wrench for as much as they want. So Cruel Wrench has definitely learned of the situation and that Vicus is a very powerful demon, and dealing with them means that only the strong come out on top and those that are weak become subservient. Moving forward, the next area I want to talk about is the Upside Down. So the Upside Down was this area that was brought up as Diogen started asking Toby many questions about the world of random Nen and wild Nen. How does it work? What is wild Nen? Where does it occur? The Upside Down is essentially a world of magical randomness, of random things going on and crazy creatures that is built in the absolute connection and antithesis of all of the wild Nen in the world. All of the wild Nen sins here, and the wild Nen gods rule this land and control the wild Nen. They use their powers of wild Nen to make themselves extremely powerful, and anyone that tries to, or any wild Nen that appears outside of their world is immediately destroyed, as to ensure that they can hold the control of all the wild Nen. They are more or less the controllers of wild Nen. They keep it in check, and people don't affect them, and they don't affect them, and people don't really mess with them, but they are the rulers of it. This is a specific world filled with many random locations and different things going on. Essentially a world filled with so much random energy that there's many things going on. The wild Nen users and gods that are in the Upside Down do in fact control all the randomness around the world. So very interesting to see that if, let's say, Toby were to pull a card of the deck of many things, they could forcibly make it a horrible card if they saw fit. Trying to go against that would then in turn create a form of wild Nen, as if you try to use your Nen to counteract their wild Nen, it would make wild Nen angering them and bringing them to your doorstep. So sometimes you don't want to make them upset. So definitely something Diogen is learning about as they go further into their journey of learning about wild men and trying to control it. Next location we have is heaven. Very generic, I know. I wasn't really, kind of was put on the spot, but I still kind of like it, as I am a sucker for things that just kind of make sense in my head. So heaven is the land of where all gods stay. Toby is a god. Toby is a part of heaven. There are many gods. There are a few gods, few very powerful gods. Seen here is the deer god that lives on the left as well. A very interesting being with magical powers. Obviously, there's different levels of gods and how strong they are. And then underneath gods are angels, which are just essentially more powerful beings that, due to their servitude and living long lives on earth, have been able to get some form of power in the form of angels. And eventually, angels can ascend to godship, essentially the way it works. Not too much to go over here, just explaining it. It was asked about, and the team didn't ask for too many questions. So can move forward quickly without having to give away too much. Next, we have hell. Imaged here on the left, I have the god of wrath himself, just to give a little idea. And hell is ran by Satan. It is a land where demons and horrible people that lived horrible lives come together and essentially live under the regimen of Satan. They do horrible things, try to have a negative impact on earth, and essentially control the evil men of the world. The gods from heaven control the good men, and they are counteracted by the people in the hell that control the evil men. So, as you all know, there is a balance between these two dens. That's how the world works. And the upside down is a third world outside of those kind of powers, but essentially Satan is the leader of the underworld. Everyone has to pay tribute and homage to him as he rules that place. And through him, there are 7 deadly sins, and they have a different ranking of their leaders. Essentially to say that of the 7 deadly sins, Vicus, who is Dravena's demon, is the demon of lust, and she is ranked number 5. And PepsiCo, our favorite demon, is sadly ranked number 7 with greed. So again, very interesting to see. The concept is very cool, and very excited to see how we dive more into this as the sessions go on, because we've barely even scratched the surface of what's going to be occurring here. And the capital city of Clover Kingdom, shown here. It was noted to everyone, they have to remember that essentially this is all on them. They need to attack Dravena. It has been told to them that if Dravena would essentially have a lot of... Dravena could call on Vicus if anyone more powerful than them tried to go in, and if anyone more weaker than them tried to go in, it's possible that Dravena would just destroy them. So they have been told by Toby on the dot that the people that run the Hunter organization have their eye on them. They've done many strange things by building a temple of ants and also not really reporting anything and just kind of doing their own mission that isn't really brought to them, but many people have seen them grow extremely powerful as hunters quickly, and seeing as a demonic person is in there, they're a little nervous. So the team's got to put some results on the table for when they eventually have to come back to the capital and meet everyone at the captain's meeting later this year, or sorry, within the next few, later this month. So Toby let them know, it's an hour and ever, you're going to have to show some results. So just so they know, that's in the back of their head, the capital is coming, and they're going to be meeting a lot of people when that occurs. That is one session done. We are now moving on to the next session that occurred, if that wasn't fun enough. So we're now getting to Inu Tawagoto, who decided to take an absolute fever trip at the beginning of the session, go in their mind, talk to Takeo, and decided to make a change. Inu went deep into his emotional state, looked into himself, and tried to become a better person. Inu has cut off his beard and is living a new life, trying to go against the old person that would be adulterous and would decapitate and disrespect everyone they killed. He wants to be someone that truly lives by the Bushido code, hopefully having Takeo help them do so. That being said, after Inu had done their great things, the team got together and said, what should we do? after a lot of deliberations, trying to figure out the best way to break into this place on the left, which is Dravena's compound, they decided that the team would get together and attempt to contact someone on the inside. That person being here on the left, or on the right, sorry, Edgar Rathborn. Edgar is a very interesting character. Edgar is one and only the human being that first helped Dravena gain her power. So, for those of you that don't understand, I guess none of you do, because only I understand, of course, but the way that Dravena gained her power was she essentially became extremely lustful, so lustful that she became the most lustful person on earth, and through that lust she learned of none other than the god of lust, or the demon of lust herself, Vicus. Vicus is the demon of lust, and eventually, through her lust for this man, the man that she once loved, her true love, Edgar, she found Vicus, strung to her, left Edgar in the dust, and eventually became a tiefling through her relationship she built with Vicus, giving more and more things to Vicus, and also bringing Edgar along the way as he was intertwined in this love almost triangle they had, but it was really just Dravena being with Vicus. And that being said, he essentially was the one that helped build up her love that turned into lust, which then led her to go down this path of infinite power that Vicus brought her on. And he has been there for the whole ride. He has never really signed up to become such a powerful being. Additionally, never really signed up to do such horrible things as Vicus has done, leading the criminal organization of the underworld. And he has been there alongside, living as one of her butlers through all of his days. That being said, many people that follow Vicus have no idea they do. Many people that follow Dravena have no idea they do. They are forced to follow her due to her ability to control people through the powers that Vicus gives her. Edgar, on the other hand, has his own free will. He has been there the whole time. He has gained a lot of power from being there for so long, and he has in turn found a way to break the spell. Sometimes Dravena will take control of him again, but sometimes Dravena doesn't see the real point in it and lets him have his free will. With that, our good friend Jerry believed that there was a possibility that Edgar would be sensible and be able to work with the team. The team found Edgar as they gave him a letter, and he left the magistrate to come out and spend time with them, and they told him a plan of bringing a Riften horse inside that they would hide into the temple, and then killing Dravena. Honestly, Edgar, being a man that has seen so many horrible things happen, at this point believes that if anyone could kill Cole the Collector and could kill Bucky the Pirate, maybe this team has what it takes to kill Dravena. And she doesn't seem too nervous, so he's a little scared, but he's willing to risk it all to simply have the opportunity to maybe free everyone. He spends his days now simply trying to help those that are also under the spell gain their free will by training them and fighting the attacks that fighting the spells that Dravena has put on them. And he's simply through with that. He's done with watching Dravena take control of everyone, and he's going to take a stand as he has faith in none other than Cruel Wrench, knowing that on the other side of this, he'll be able to sign a contract with PepsiCo. And although he doesn't believe he can go back to living a normal life, he is willing to work and serve a demon that at least seems to have some common decency. We'll see how that goes. The Riften horse is under preparations to be created. Edgar has agreed to bring it into the castle, and that will allow the team, as long as Dravena does not sense their Nen as it comes in, to hide inside the castle and strike when they see that the time is right. It's going to be crazy. They've cooked up some ideas, and I'm very excited to see how this goes. Dravena is going to be quite someone to fight, not to mention her dog Cerberus, a demonic three-headed beast, which will certainly also add a little bit of fight. But hey, not really sure how it's going to go. All I know is our team is definitely having fun out there. So thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. Very much appreciate it. And I hope that you come along to see how this ends. I'm very excited to see how this final fight ends, as we're going to next session be diving into the combat where our team will finally attempt to stop Dravena's reign of terror. Have a great one.